Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So any questions till last session? Anyone has any questions? Anyone tried scheduler classes and anyone tried the hands-on even VF page also? Any questions? And then maybe I can start.
Hello, Manu.
Yeah. Yeah.
I started with this developer beginner as well as journey to Salesforce. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing some parallel to doing both of this, but haven't gone to VF pages or at that level. So I was still busy with my project. So I was going through that. I feel there were much self-explanatory, no that issues as well. So I'm good, going good now from my side.
So now, how I am going to divide the next sessions is in three parts. First of all, I will go today most with the VF page in much details. So once that is done, then we will go into the lightning components and then into lightning web components. So this is what I am thinking of. So currently, this is the plan. First, we will cover this VF part, then we will go into lightning components, and then finally to lightning web components. And currently, the latest platform that Salesforce uses is this lightning web components. But why VF is important? It's like now there could be a project where the requirement could not be fulfilled to lightning web components. In that case, you might have to go for Visual Force pages. And plus there could be some projects which could go for migration from classic to lightning. So there also you need to know Visual Force pages. So that is the first point. The reason I first want to cover the Visual Force pages with you in the Salesforce Classic. And after that, lightning component, and I believe I explained you the differences also last time. What is the difference between this Visual Force pages, Salesforce Classic, and Salesforce Lightning? Yeah. So any questions on that? Hello.
No, Manu.
Yeah.
Could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, I also didn't get the question. Was someone asking something?
No, you were asking something, right?
Yeah, I was asking. We know that now the difference between Salesforce Classic and Salesforce Lightning.
Yes. Okay.
Because that we already discussed in last session.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now let us drag into the VF pages. So this session we will cover Visual Force. Next one will be lightning components and lightning web components. I believe we will require some sessions. Okay. So I already opened my classic org. So let me show you. Okay. So mainly in Visual Force pages also you have three things mainly. The first one is your standard controller, then is your custom controller and your controller extension. Now, what is the difference between standard controller and your custom controller? That is the first thing. Standard controller it will implement Salesforce functionality, standard functionality, and it will run in your user mode. So what I mean by user mode is that security will be enforced. So common example could be I have one standard controller with an account, or maybe I have a standard controller where I need to create an account record. So standard functionality of account will be implemented. I will have the account fields, maybe, and revenue, fees, all of these fields I will have it out. So when I fill it out, I click on save button, account record will be created. So that is standard controller. Now the second thing comes then what is custom controller? Now assume I want to pull a data from multiple. I want to search. Maybe my name Manu. It's present in which object. It could be present in account. It could be present in your contact. It could be present in your cases. Or multiple places it could be present. So in case I need to check it out, I am not dependent on one particular object. So I am getting that information from multiple objects. So in case I need to get the information from multiple objects, this custom controller comes into picture. Other example for custom controller could be I have a Salesforce system, or I assume I need to call some another system, maybe SAP. So in case I need to make a call out, there also mean custom controller will come. Another example could be Salesforce is there. Before calling the another system, maybe SAP, mean I need to do some validations in sales. So there also mean your custom controller will come. And your custom controller, it will run in your system mode. System mode, it means your security will not be enforced. So your standard controller, user mode where security is enforced, custom controller where security is not being enforced, mean it will run without your security. Mean sharing rules are not enforced. That is what I mean to say. So now next thing comes, apart from this, there is one more thing known as controller extension. So controller extension, it could be of two types. You could have a standard controller extension and you could have a custom custom controller extension also. So what I mean by custom controller standard controller extension is, I have my account object. So before saving the records, assume I need to perform some updates. Just like before trigger. I have an account object. So what I want, whenever my revenue is greater than 100, my status should be set to in a picklist value. I have 3 values: warm, cold, and hot. And hot. So in case my revenue is greater than 100, my rating should be set to warm. So before saving the record, I need to manipulate my data. So in that case, you will make use of standard controller extensions. Now come similarly in custom controller, in case I need to in custom controller, in case like an example, assume I have a SAP system. So before sending the detail to SAP system, I need to perform some validations. So in that case, I will make use of our custom controller extension. So now I will cover each of these example by example, and I believe it will be more clear to you. So here, if you see what has been done is, you see this button, account standard controller. So in case I click on it, I think yes. So here I'm able to see my account details and my contact details. So how all of this thing is coming out? Let us see. I will now go to my setup. There I will go into your pages. Let us write. Okay, so before going to the Visual Force page, I will also show you how this has been created out. I just want to know the name of the page button, so that's why. Okay, fine. So how this has been done is, I have first of all created this account standard controller. So here, if you see standard controller, name of my object. So it can be a custom object or a standard object. So in this case, it's account, the API name. After that will come this page block table. Page block table, I already explained to you in last session also. This page block table is generally used in case I want my inbuilt, Salesforce design to be implemented out in look and feel. So here, if you see, what I have done is account dot name. So this is how generally it's being written out. Name of your object and the field that you want. After that, phone number, account.phone, that's it. So this is how I have got account name and my phone details. ID, it's like standard. So whenever the button is on whichever object I created out, it will take that particular record inbuilt. After that, once this page block is done, what I have done is this related list. Related list is also a tag in case I have a parent and there I need to display my child records details. So in this case, I have related list as contacts, opportunities, all of this. So I've taken as contacts. And this related list, it will come same way as normally you have. Like this. So if you see here also, yes, I've opened this button. This is how it is. So this is name, phone, and this is that related. And now, first thing I need to do is, first of all, I need to create this VF page. Now my VF page is ready, but how I want to use it as a button? What I need to do it? So I need to create one button. So what I have done here is, inside my account, I have gone to my button and link. There you have this option. New action, new button or link. This one is for lightning quick actions that we will discuss in the coming next sessions. This one is for classic. So you click on new button or link. There you have this option. So you need to specify the label of your button, which is in our case, this account standard controller. Then the API name, then this detail page link, detail button and list button. So since I want it on a detail page, so that's why it's detail page button. So after that, what behavior I need to expect. So it will have multiple options. I want to display in a new window, in an existing window, with sidebar, without sidebar. In case on this button click, do I want to execute some JavaScript? So currently I will display it in new window. So after that, here I have selected this Visualforce page option. So in case I click on URL, whenever a button is clicked, a URL will open. So in case I click JavaScript, JavaScript will be executed. So now let me show you how this has been written. So if you see, this is how it's been written. So this is my name label. This is my name. So this is my button where you want to display it. These are the things. Apart from that, what is the content source? So this one is Visualforce page. After that, I am selecting the name of that my Visualforce page. And here only those buttons will come since this button is created on account object. So here only standard account buttons, controller buttons will come. So once this button is done, after that I need to add this button to my page layout. So this page layout you can go from multiple options. So you can go it from here also in edit layout, but better approach is you go to this page layouts. There you have multiple pages, so I added into this one. So now here, if you see, you have this buttons options. Now this button options is for Salesforce Classic, and this quick actions, this we will be using in Lightning component and Lightning web component. So currently we're focused on Classic only, and this one is also for Lightning. Currently we will focus on this one only in buttons. So here, if you see, here we have added this button, account standard controller. So I just pull it from here. In case I pull it back, so I can just push it. That's it. So this one will come in custom button. So these are your standard buttons. So this is how I have done three things. First of all, I have created a standard controller VF page, part one. Part two, what I did, I used that VF page on a button on account object, part two. Once that button is being created out, part three, what I did, I use that button on my page layout. So is this clear?
Yes, Manu.
Okay. So that first one is done. Okay. Now we will go into our second button. I will close this one. This is my standard controller extension. Opportunity update that now I'm going to talk about. So once I click on this button, what will happen? It will, yeah. So it is what is doing. It is displaying me account detail. This type. That is, I believe, what is the, yeah, rating. That is your rating field. So here I'm having the account detail and the opportunity detail. So now what I will do, I will update it to cold. And next, click on save. Yeah. So near, if you see, the rating has been changed to cold. So now what has been done here? Let us go through. Okay, Opti update. Okay. So name of the page is just 1 minute. Sorry. Okay. So now if you see this, what I was talking about. So here, standard controller plus standard controller extension. So now what is this? This is nothing but an Apex class that has been created. Let us check. Yeah. So here, if you see now how it has been done, I will open the button also for it. Yeah. So here, if you see what has been done, this is my Apex class. This is its constructor. So the main thing here to be noted in your standard controller extension is you need to pass the record to get its ID. So mainly, this is how the record is being passed. Apex pages dot standard controller. So this is a parameterized constructor. So in order to fetch that record, how I can fetch it up in the class, in that account record. So you need to use this parameterized constructor. This is my parameterized constructor. Inside this, I am passing this parameter. This is Salesforce input. Apex pages dot standard controller. So once I have this, so I have that particular record. So once I have that particular record, I can perform any operation. So here, I just get this record. That's it. And it's getting updated. So what else could I have done here was I updated my one thing, account revenue, I updated it. With this, I could also have updated some other fields in case I wanted. So in case my rating is equal to hot, set my revenue to 100. So that could I have also done it here. So it's like save button functionality I have. In case I need to do any other operation, that also I can do it out. And apart from that, here I'm getting the opportunity details. So this part is doing my account update part, and this is how I am getting the opportunity. Now, always remember, whenever you need to display the parameters or set the parameter in VF page, you always need to use getter and setters. So one of the ways, you can declare it like this, or other way it could also have been, we could have done something like this also. This is another. Right, something like child ops. There you can write your getter and setter. So it depends how you want to use it. So currently here what I have done is I have updated the account as well as I have got opportunity details. So this part is getting my account record and updating out, and this is getting my those opportunities, which is
Manu, can you explain line number 4 and 5, like in the parameters, like how this is getting the data Apex pages or standard controller?
That's what I told you. This one is Salesforce standard
inbuilt function. Okay.
Inbuilt functionality. That's what I told you. So whenever do you have a standard controller extension, and you need to you tell them how will I access that account record? In case of standard, it's fine. I don't need to create in an Apex class, but in Apex class, how I'm going to access it? This is the tag based upon which you are going to access. So that's why here, if you see controller.get record, so this is getting me that particular record, which object that is being parsed as account. So in case here also I could write it. Now I have the account record. I could also use the ID also. That's it. Is it now clear?
Yeah.
So I will give you this code, and I want you if you want you people to try it out. Here inside this code, I want you to update the account rating also before saving the record. So now if I go here, so if you see, this is what it has been done. First of all, you see this, you have this command action save button save. So once this button is saved, my account record is getting saved. So in case I had to perform some operation, what would I have done it out? I would have explicitly here called that save button and override it. But currently, I am not changing any behavior, so that's why I did not have to call it. So in case I would have to do it out, I would have need to do it have that command action button. I need to have override. So now this is what is doing my save part here. After that, yeah, this is it. I'm updating the rating, and apart from that, this is how I'm displaying the opportunity details. So here, if you look this child ops, this is how that is. Now same thing has been done here. The button is here, and I want it on a VF. So I've selected this VF object. So now two things I covered out: standard controller I covered it out, and standard controller extension I covered out. So now in standard controller extension, I want you people to do one thing. If you get time. So whenever my rating is being, assume we have the screen. So what I want is, whenever my rating is being changed from warm to cold, my revenue, maybe, sorry, example you can take is, whenever my rating is warm, my revenue should be sent to 100 or maybe sent to 200. In case my rating is hot, it should be sent to 300. It's cold, it should be sent to 100. So I want you people to try it out how this can be done through my controller extension. So mainly I give you the idea also what it will be done. This button that you have on that save, there you need to override.
We can use if else statement in the same, right?
That's what I'm saying. You need to on the save method which is there, that you need to write it here and then try to over. So I want you people to try it out. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now this one is done. So now we will go into this third example, min custom controller. We will go. Yeah, this is the account custom controller. Okay. So now here what I'm doing is, here I'm going to update the account names. So here if you see, there are two things that is coming. The first thing that is coming, that is my name that is coming. And apart from that, I'm able to update my account. Assuming I try to make it as 515. So once I click on save here, this name will get updated, as well as this name will get updated, as well as it will take me to that page also. Sorry, it's not taking me to that page. It will just update it. Let us see whether my name is being updated. So you see this name got updated. So how this has been done. Now this requirement I could have fulfilled through standard control extension also. I could have fulfill this requirement, but just how I could use it in custom controller, that I will show you. For custom controller, I have two examples. First is this one. The second example that I will show you out is that where I'm able to search my name in multiple objects. So why I have used this example is just to show you how I have got my account ID in case of my custom controller and how I have used it out. So this requirement, this one is being done through your custom controller. So let us see how this requirement has been done. Okay, so just check us button name. The name of the button, account custom. Yeah. So here if you see Apex custom controller is the name of the page. Oh, sorry. I'm searching the Apex class. Okay, now let us open this. So here if you see, I will open more the VF pages for you, so then you can get that different. Just let me open that previous page also. Okay, so if you see, this was the previous one. So here I had standard controller equal to account, extension equal to account controller extension. Now in my custom controller, if you see, I am only having this controller, my controller, that is my Apex class. This tab style, sorry, equal to account is mainly just used to show that this is using account tabbing style. So this, even in case I do, this is just for styling purpose, nothing else. So this is what I want to focus you on, my controller. Now in case I use search it. So now here you see how I have got the account record. So in this case, I won't be able to use that parameterized constructor. Where I have this Apex pages standard controller. in that thing that we were using out, but here I won't be able to use. So here, if you see, this is my normal constructor that I have. So now how I have got my account ID to use it out. So here, if you see, I have done this thing, apex pages dot get parameter dot get ID. So based upon this, I am getting my account record. And after that, I have this button save, and I'm updating it and setting it to null, to remain on that same page. So now how this part has been done, this is the main thing that we need to note it out. So now in case I go to my button here, you will notice this is same as detail page, but content source I have changed it out. So what I am doing is I'm creating one URL for my Apex page. So VF page. So here, if you see Apex, name of my VF page, if you see, this is my page name. After that, this ID, remember, this one is Salesforce inbuilt parameter. ID, you can use it out. And this is how I am getting the account ID. And in case I need to pass some other parameters also, maybe with the ID, you need to pass some other parameters. So that also you can pass it out, and those also mean you can access it out. I mean to say custom parameters. So if you see, first colon ID, I use it out. Other than that, in case I need to pass it out some other parameters, so I could write it like this. Ampersand, and there just you provide the name. Maybe name is here. That's it. And now this field, account.id, how this is coming. So here, if you see, you go to the account, my object is account. After that, this is how it's coming. So now here, what has happened? I have got my account ID record. So this is the parameter that is getting my account ID. So based upon that, I am fetching the account record. That is part one. So this is how the record is being fetched in your custom controller. And even if you look this URL, let me click on it. You see this URL. So here in case I put it in Notepad also. So this is my same thing, Apex standard my VF page name. This is my ID. This is my record ID. That's it. So what I have done here is, first of all, I created one custom controller. I use it in my VF page. After that, on the button, I created one URL from which I am getting that ID. That ID I am using in my controller. So on the controller, I am getting that account record. So once I get that account record, that I am displaying it out on my VF page. So now in case here you look, this is what it's. You have input field as account name. So on that, what I'm doing is this command button. So now what this command button does is this thing. This save button. So once you click on this button, what I want to do it out. I want my record to be updated. So here, if you see page reference. Now, what does page reference mean? So here page reference mean, should I stay on the current page or should I move to some other point? So in case here I would have want to go from one VF page to another VF page. So that thing also I could have done using page reference. Since I wanted to stay on that same page only, I have returned it as here null. So now here, if you see, the save method is getting called. Inside that, I am updating this DML operation that I'm doing. I am updating that account. So once my account record is updated, what I want to do. I want to stay on that page. I have fuzzy set merge. So in case I want to move to another page, you have this syntax for page reference also. I mean, page reference equal to page name. I think that is the syntax. And apart from that, I mean, there are some other syntaxes also, I mean, where you can move to other places. So currently we are staying on that page only. That's it. So this is the main thing here to be noted. I mean, I'm not putting any parameter, I'm not passing, but how I'm getting the value. This is how I'm getting the account ID. Yeah, and one more thing here is there are certain global variables also. So if you see this page, how this my name is coming. So this is coming from my global variables that I have in VF. If you see $user. So I'm going to my user object. So there I'm getting my first. So I can get my profile name also. So there are a lot of things when you can get from global variable. So on the whole, first this custom controller was called. I got my ID. Second thing, I got my name, this thing, Manu. Third thing, I created an input field to update the name, this thing. Fourth thing, once I'm updating the name, I need to save it also. So I'm calling this save method. That's it. So if you see on command button, mean what action do I need to perform? Mean what action I need to call. So this is the action that I need to call. And this is the label name. So in case I change it to, this is currently small, let us change it to capital say. In case now I change it out. In case now you open it out, this one, the label name is changed. So is this clear? I mean, standard controller I first covered. After that, standard controller extension, I covered it out. The third thing that I covered it out is custom controller. Is it clear? Any questions on this? Hello?
Yeah, this is Prashant. So the name standard controller is applicable for both standard objects as well as custom objects, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Then coming to custom controller, we don't have some security aspects as well as standard controller.
When sharing rules are not enforced, so it's like it will work in your system mode. Correct. Yeah.
Override all the permissions given to.
Yeah.
Controller extensions. Could you please repeat
controller extensions? So controller extension, when I give you one example now. So assume I have an account of standard controller extension. There are also two types: standard controller extension and custom controller extension. So in case standard controller extension is there, assume I have an account object. So there whenever I am setting my assume I am setting my rating to hot. So I want my revenue should be sent to 300. So just like in before trigger, before saving the record, you do some sort of calculation at the back end. So same thing that I'm doing in my standard controller extension. So there on the save you need to override that behavior. Okay.
What are the functionalities for this controller extension? Is that only updation of field based upon other field, or as you do?
I'm not able to hear you. Your voice is not audible.
Hello?
Yeah, could you speak louder?
Yeah. Is it audible now?
Yeah, better.
Yeah. See, custom controller control extensions. What you explain is that it is updating the revenue on based upon status rate of the account, right? Wow. So is that only that customer controller does, or is there any other functionalities extensions control extension?
Other functionalities. This is a method, meaning so in that method, you can do multiple things. You can do.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Assume in error messages, I need to display it out.
Okay. Only method you have written, and on the method we have done this functionality. Right?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
You are audible.
You were saying something in last point.
No. Only we have done that functionality in a function. So if you want to do some other functionality, we need to change the method, and we can do whatever action we want. Right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So that is also done. So in case currently I put this button on the UI. If you see. So in case you need to do the testing also, this you think you can do it directly also here. What I'm suggesting is, assume currently I have not put my button on the UI. So how can I test it also? So what you can do is, this thing you can also do. So here if you see Apex, my page name and the parameters. So this you enter it out. So this is how you can test it also directly in case you want to do the testing from backend side. Okay. So now let us go into the next part. Okay. Custom controller. Okay, I have one more example. So now I was saying to you one more example. So assume I want to search my hopefully should be there. Okay. Yeah. So here if you see, I tried to search this Manu integration. So I just wanted to check this one is present in which object. So currently if you see, this is only present in context. So how I achieve this requirement? So here what I have done is I have written one social query. Social, if you remember, I covered in my first session. So Manu integration, I tried to check it's present in which objects. So currently this one is only present in context. So how it came? Here my name is being searched into multiple objects. So how I achieve this functionality? So for this I've created one VF tab. Yeah. Yeah. So here if you see, this is my, now let me open the controller. Yeah. So here if you see what has been done, I am having this input search box. So how this has been done? So here I have this input text. So inside that I am passing the string. After that, what I am doing is I am calling this button. And the name of the action is SOSL demo. So now in case I go to my this custom controller, so there you see, there you will have this. So now here if you see, this what I was referring to you. So now here I need to return my opportunities, I need to return my contacts, I need to return my accounts. So how I am returning those things? This has been displayed on my UI. So for them, I have my getter and setter. So this is my Apex class name. These are the things that I need to return it out. This is my for input string. This is my constructor. Currently, this is my blank. Because why this is blank? Because here I need to search in multiple objects. So I don't need any ID, something like this. So I'm just passing this string. After that, I'm calling this method in this section. So once this is getting called, I'm initializing these variables. So now here I have put a check in case my string length, mean the input that I have enter is greater than 1 or not. So this is, I'm just passing the name. And if you remember, this is a Softcell query we discovered last time also. So in this query, I'm checking mean whether that name, Manu name that I have entered is present in which objects. So in case this is present, then it should return me the account ID, name and type, contact name and email, opportunity name and state. So here if you see contact name and email, this is coming. So this is how this SOSL query is written. This I've been explained to you in previous sessions also. So now since this is list of list, so what I've done, at 0th location, I will have my account detail. At 1, I will have my contact detail. And at 2, I will have opportunity. If you see, this is 0th location. This is my first location. And this is my second location. Inside that, I need to get my account record. So for that, I have account list. If you see, at 1th, I have my contact list. At 2, I have my opt-in list. So now here, if you see, I put this condition. So if you see, in case no record would have written, I am displaying an error message also. Like previously, in case, assume in I entered any wrong name, which is not present to system. This is the error message. Now, how this error message is being done, you have this syntax for the error messages. I mean, Apex pages.add message. New Apex pages is, this is this inbuilt class main syntax. So inside that, mean what severity Nunu. There are different severity, warning, info, success, all of these are there. This I will discuss with you. There is one demo also for that I have also created. So this one is saying no results is being returned. And this one is for that I need to enter minimum 2 records. So in case all of these conditions is not being satisfied, I'm doing normal return. This I'm just returning my records. That's it. In case it doesn't go into this. And plus for this error message, mean one more thing is then you need to add this tag add message and this all of this here. And plus on the page also, you need to have this one, page messages. So error message, in case you need to do it out, you need to do 2 things. In the controller, you need to do this. New page message dot add messages, your message. And in order to display it on the page, you need to use this tag. Okay, this was error. So now assuming this part did not get executed. So now, like in our example, mean that Manu integration dot got returned. So here the value was being put it out. After that, this is how it's being displayed. That. Now in page block table, I have. So here I'm getting the count record that I'm displaying, contact records I'm getting, stage is ready. Let me try in some other one. You also. I believe flow should be here. Yeah, there you see all the records for the flow. Context also came and opportunities also came. So here I displayed the data from multiple objects. So what I did it out is I created custom controller. Inside that, first thing I did, I passed this input field. So once I click on this button, into this button, this text is being passed. So after that, when Softcell query is run, so it is getting the data from different objects. It is getting from accounts, it is getting from contacts, it is getting from opportunities. In case there is no record, then error message will come. error message, how we handled it in controller, you need to add this apex pages dot add messages in order to display it on the UI. Apex page messages you need to add in your Visualforce page. In case there is no message, then the records are present. This is how they are displayed. Is this clear? Any question on this? And apart from this, means some other tags also has been used in this action status and all of these things. This is mean, and main thing is this also mean re-rendering. Once my data come, I need to re-render this page. So this is what it has been done. So here, if you see, I have this button. So I am re-rendering these sections once my data is ready. What I mean to say is, initially, I don't see any data. So once I click on this button, data comes into those three variables: octet list, account list, and contact list. This section needs to re-render also. This is how re-rendering is happening. Mainly, data returned, after that, this re-rendering. That circular window that you see is mainly this part, this status part, this image which is loaded. So now, I cover four things. If you see, standard controller extension. After that, custom controller. That was one was for an account object. After that, from multiple object, I covered this example. Is this clear? Hello? Any questions? Okay. So now, next thing that you will do, if you remember last session, we did one wrapper class example. So do you want me to explain that example now after this VF pages once again? I will not explain that class much in detail, but now I can show you that page. Shall I? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you remember in the last before we started VF, we covered that wrapper class.
Getting child objects wrapped in account.
Yeah. So here I had my account and my contact details I had. So now how this was done? So if you go into this tabs here, yeah, this one, wrap account. Now you see, this is a custom controller that I have created that day. In case we open this class, yeah, here if you see, obviously this part we discussed, it should not be written like this. This I explained to you also. So here if you see, this is my constructor. Inside this I am checking whether my wrapper list is null or not. In case it's null, so I am fetching the account records and this contact record that I'm storing in a wrapper. For this wrapper, I have this getter and setter. So if case I search this thing, wrap list now into my page. Yeah. So this is the page block table that account wrap list is coming. That I'm storing inside this variable account wrap. After that, I'm getting that each record of account and how many contacts are there. Those are account wrap.com. This is your contact. So now is this also example clear?
Yes.
Okay. So now let us see what is next. Okay. So you people were, wondering how those, what are the type of error messages we can have in a VF page. Now let me show you one example for that also. Where did I add it? Okay, let us take that back. Did I create the example or not? Maybe I can check it here. Okay, PDF demo is here. Yeah, I didn't create the tab. These are large number of tags. Mainly in VF, I told you the basics. So it's just like what tab you need according to your requirement. Okay, now let us see this error part. Okay, so what I have done is here I have created this page just to show you what are the different category of error messages we have. I'll close now this tab. Just to clear out this space. Yeah, so if you see, just to show you what are the different category of error messages we have. Yeah, so here if you see, this is my VF page, this is my extension. So inside this extension, I have displayed different type of error messages I have just tried to display. So here if you see, in case my account name is equal to blank or null, I should display a message of category fatal. Let us see how this works. I believe I have this button on account object also. Yeah, I have this button, so it will be much easier. Just ignore that tab part previously. Yeah. So now let us see how this button works out. So if you see, first thing normally I have done is I have done this standard controller account record, that's it. After that, I'm showing this different category of message. First one is the fatal category. The second one is error. The third one is warning. The other is info, and this last one is confirm. So fatal one I have displayed when my account name is equal to blank. So same thing I did it, apex pages dot add message new apex pages dot mask. After that, what is the category and what message I need to display. And this one I have taken on my name field. Other than this, if you see, this is what it has been done to show the message. That's it. And apart from that, these input values. On button, I'm calling this method save. If you see, let us see how it sounds. If you see, I leave name as blank. So if you see, currently all of them are blank, so all of the messages are gone. So this one came for my fatal. This one, second one came for my error category. The third one for warning. This one, phone number. The next one came for my account side. which is an, I believe, an info message, and the second last one came for my industry, that is confirm. So these are the different categories of messages you can have. So this you can check it on your internet also. So based on your requirement, you can do it out. Any question on this error message? Okay, so I assume this is clear. Okay, so now this is also being done. So next thing we will do is, this is done. Wrapper also we covered it out. Okay, there are two things in Salesforce we have. The first one is your action support and the second one is your action function. So what is action function? So assume I have two fields in my Salesforce on my VF page. The first one is a checkbox. So whenever the first one is a checkbox field and the second one is output field. So what I want is whenever my checkbox field is being checked out, a text should be displayed into my text field. Maybe you can check the checkbox, or when I uncheck, you uncheck the checkbox. So what is happening is on clicking of check or uncheck of checkbox, the other field in my VF page is getting updated. So this is what you call as providing AJAX support. So what is AJAX support is, whenever I do one thing on one field, this should do some changes in another field. So how this has been done? So for this, what we have in Salesforce known as action support. So what would be done here in this checkbox, I will add the action support. So now let us see one example I have for action support. So what is that example is, I will increment and decrement the values. I will show you how it's been implemented. That's more easier to understand. Main for example is how to provide an AJAX support. That's it. Yeah. So here, if you see, I have these three fields. So whenever I will click on this, click here to increment, this count is getting as 1. I click again 2, click again 3. So now what is happening is whenever I'm clicking on this field is getting updated. Similarly, whenever I click here, this is getting decremented. So here what I have done is, I have on this part increment, whenever I'm clicking it in the backend, the value is getting incremented and this is getting updated here. So on this field, I have provided an AJAX support using action support. So let us see how it has been done. Need to check the name of that. Okay. Yeah. So now if you see here, click here to increment. Inside that, I have provided this AJAX support. So what I am doing is, whenever I am clicking on this, I am calling this action method into my controller increment counter. So inside that, I have this variable count. So it's just increasing its values. That's it. So once this is being done, I'm returning this get count. So now what I have done is, assume my value got incremented. After that, I am re-rendering this page. Re-rendering means I'm refreshing this page. So inside that, I am displaying the count. Similarly, same thing done for decrement also. So thing I did in one field, it is updating another section or another field. So is this clear? Action support. Any questions?
Yeah, Manu, can you tell some use case of that? Like,
Use case mean I just showed you. Yeah, this is a use case now.
okay.
I mean it's just like one field I'm doing an operation on one field and another field in my page is getting updated. So here what I have done is I click on this. Click here to increment. So this field I am clicking, another field count is getting updated. And before starting example also I told you one example. Assume I have one checkbox. So based upon that, common example could be assume I have a page. So on that I have one checkbox. So assume I have one page, there I have one checkbox field and I have some input field. So what I want is whenever my checkbox is being checked, those fields below should become read only.
Okay.
So in that case, I need to provide that AJAX support to that checkbox field. So that I'm providing through action support. Got it now? Is it clear?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Manu, can we give this action support to other features like buttons or something like that?
Other? Your voice
buttons.
is not audible here. I'm not able to.
Buttons, other buttons.
AJAX support to buttons I cannot do.
Only for checkbox or something.
Fields I can give. Tags I can give. Buttons I cannot. And button I don't think it's needed because on button you already have that re-render. You already have that option on button. If you remember, on the button, you already have this option of re-render. If you remember the previous examples that I explained. But in case here, that re-rendering option is not here. So that's why it was being done. In case of button, you already have this re-render option. Okay. So now let me go to the other example also. Okay, the second thing that I want to discuss with you is this action function. So now what the action function is? Assume you click on some button. So after clicking on that button, what you want is before my action gets called, you want to execute JavaScript for some logic. So in that case, you use action function. So action function is just simpler. You have one button. So once you click on that button should not call my Apex class controller directly. So before calling that Apex class controller, I want my JavaScript to get executed. So in case you want your JavaScript to get executed, you will call action function. You see, okay, I can explain you this code mainly and how it's like. I have this demo. Okay. Okay. So now let me explain to you this example. So this one is for my action function. So in case I set my rating to high, you see this phone field is coming. So how this is coming? Let us see. Yeah. Correct. So now this is what I wanted to explain to you. This is the controller that we have. So here, if you see, I have this priority change. Okay. So now here, if you see, I have this input field on change. So this priority change is my action function. So this is just nothing but my JavaScript function. So once in case I needed to do mean something, I can even have an alert or also mean, are you sure you want to proceed or not? So from this, I am calling this JS function. So this JS function is now my calling my Apex method. That's it. Generally, mean this part is generally being used out. Mean assume mean you have an account object. So assume you are creating one new record. So what you want is before saving the record, mean you want the user to give you a warning. Are you sure you want to create an account record or not? Click OK or cancel. So that's pop-up screen that is coming. That is mainly coming through your JavaScript. So just like simple example you take into consideration is in case before calling your Apex controller method, mean you want your JavaScript to be called. So in that case, we are using this action function name that we are using. Apart from this, there is one more thing, mean action poller we also have. So action poller is nothing. It just like mean assuming you have an account screen and below you have mean stock prices you have. So now your stock prices get updated every 5 seconds. So in order to reflect those prices after every 5 seconds, mean you can make use of your action poller. So 3 tags I covered here. Action support. This one is mainly giving your Ajax support to your component. Second one, action function you have before calling an Apex controller method, you want your JavaScript to get executed. So for that you have action function. And similarly, action poller is nothing. You want your section in a VF page to be refreshed after every 5 or 10 seconds. And in order to mean check this differences, mean you can refer this article also to understand it. This mean you can check it here. This is mean if you see, I explained to you. Action support, if you see, Ajax support. The third one, action poller. With timely Ajax request. You can check the demo also. This page no longer exists. Okay, so this link, mean I can send you, and I believe the code is also here. I'm not sure whether it's present. Yeah, it's present. So you can refer this also for understanding. Okay, so now action support and action poller, this is also being done. Okay, this I will go later. Okay, let us do a PDF example. Okay, assume mean I have my 20 account records I have. So now those 20 account records mean I want to view in a PDF file. So how I can do in a Visualforce page? So there is mean no rocket science we need to do it out. Is in the Visualforce we just need to use this tag render as PDF. So let me show you an example. Yeah. So here if you see, I took 10 accounts. So these are coming in the form of a PDF. So how they came as PDF? Let us see. Yeah. So here if you see, this is one mean controller, I took it out. So here if you see what I have done is, I have just returned the list of accounts, mean 10 account records I have returned. So in the page block table, I am returning those accounts. If you see, after that, I have used this tag render as PDF. So based upon this is coming up. So is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah. And similarly, in case you want to have Excel also, that you can also have. So what I will do is I will show you. Okay, this I can show you one demo. Okay, so I will show you. I have my another org also. So there I have this one object I created out. That is used to get the code coverages of my test classes. So that I am storing in a custom object. So that I am able to download as a PDF as well as Excel also. So that is also being done through VF Page that I can show you. Just 1 minute. We'll keep this one long. Yeah. So I have this one custom tab that I created out. Inside that I put one VF page. So here you see that I have this option, download as Excel file. Let me click on it. This is nothing but I have this one object, code coverages, where I'm storing the code coverages of different objects. Yeah. So how this data is going to come in a PDF? That's what I'm showing you now. Download this Excel. Yeah. So this file is being downloaded. Now let us try to open it. You see? Now how this thing came. The same thing when I will show you in Lightning also. Once we go into Lightning components. Yeah, so I have just this controller I have. There I created different buttons. If you see, this is what I have done. In case I open this one, this is the VF page. So, like I had render as PDF, here I have this thing. vnd.msexcel hash. That's it. And .coverage.xsl, this was the name of the file that was getting saved once downloading, if you saw. This one. That's it. What has been done here. Content type, Excel. That's it. Other than this, just getting this data. Similarly, PDF, I click on it. Something can be done here also. So this I can also download. Okay, and apart from this, one more thing here has been done, and this I want you people to try it out. Is I want you to create one VF page. So on this page there should be a button where I will send the PDF as an attachment to my email. Maybe of 10 accounts you can take it out. Have one VF page on have this button mail PDF file. So once I click on this, what should happen? It should send an email to my account, which should have an attachment of 10 email accounts. Now let us try it out. Here I have code coverage. Let me check. Gmail hopefully doesn't go in spam. Yeah, so here if you see, I just clicked on this button. So inside that, I have received an email which contains my PDF. So now I want you people to try this thing for account. So is this requirement clear?
Yeah.
So here generally I have called one Apex controller. I have mainly called it out. Inside that there is one method. So in that method, once I click on this button, an email is getting sent with it as a PDF. I can show you the code also, but I want you people to try it on your side also. Yeah, let us open this controller. This is my controller that we have. So here, if you see, I have this mail PDF. Let us see what has been done. Yeah. So this is what it has been done. So here what I have done is page reference, page, name of my page. So this is my page. Inside that, if you see, I have a render that coverage, that object records. So you need to have this blob thing. Generally, whenever you need to send a PDF. So in this blob, I have this method get content PDF. Once I get it, after that, what I'm doing is I'm sending it in an attachment. That's it. Attachment is done. After that, this email function you have in very common. Generate. This you would have checked in. Someone please mute. Yeah. So here what has been done is I get this blob into a attachment. After that, I am attaching that attachment to a mail. That's it. And this function I believe you would have used in your triggers, in Trailhead, what you have done in generic method to send emails. So this is how now if you see what we covered out. First of all thing, I just showed you a PDF, how to create it or render as PDF. After that, an Excel also I showed you how to download. After that, I showed you how to send the PDF as an attachment in the email. That I also showed you. So now just last thing is being left. So then we can wrap up this VF pages. Okay. So now I will close this one. So assume I need to get the context from one org to from this org. I need to get my context to another org. Let me show you. If you remember last time also I showed you that was for Lightning. So let me show you for Classic. Yeah. So now here what I'm doing is I have this org. In this org, I have these contexts. So now I want to display these contexts into my org too. So I click on this get contact button. So if you see, this is getting my contact from my another org. You see, this is the same URL you have. S Manu Lightning Dev, this is same. So now here mainly REST integration has been implemented. Integration part I will not go here because that is quite a vast and advanced topic. So I've been connected these two orgs using REST integrations. So from another org, my data is coming. So you just remember me that data is coming into a JSON. So I've converted that data from JSON into a Apex class. So assume mean I have now my Apex class. I just need to, Apex class is your wrapper class where I'm displaying this context. So once you click on this button, you see I have this callout controller I have. Yeah, so this part mean you can have, this is purely integration part. So the main thing here is on this, I have this button called SF1. So this all call out is I'm making out. After that mean I'm getting this data into this class SF content. So if you see, this is one another Apex class. Yeah. So this all data is coming. So since this is a wrapper class, if you now see, this is being displayed here. Should have a variable name. If we see, SF is here. So SF should be present. Yeah. So this has been very same example we have for, just wanted to show you from wrapper class point of view. Integration part when you currently can view people can just. So now if I see on the whole, mean today I started with first with standard controllers. So after that, this example we went for standard controller extension. After that, one example we went for custom controller. For custom controller, we had two examples. The second one was for getting the data from multiple objects. So once that was done, then we went through wrapper class example. Action function, action support we covered. Action function we covered. PDF we covered. Excel we all we covered. Error messages also we covered. So I mean this all I covered it out with you people. Any questions? Any? So I believe when someone was asking in last section, mean how the action and all of these things happen in Salesforce. So I mean this is how it happens in Classic. So now once this Classic is done, so next demo we will go into this Lightning components. And some examples will be there in that we will go. For example, oh sorry, this is my own. Classic is being done. In the next session, we will go into this Lightning. Assuming I have this, how this is working in Lightning. Error messages also we have. So this is for Lightning components, which will be there in the next session. Mostly this will be the next session. Any questions?
Any trailheads?
Hello. Hello. Yeah.
Any trailheads?
Trailheads mean in developer beginner there should be trailheads on Visual Force that you can start it on. On developer beginner and in developer intermediate there should be trailheads on Visual Force also that you can check. Because to be very honest with you, Visual Force last time when I did it out, maybe it was in 2019 June or July. After like last 2.5 years, I've been just working upon Lightning components and Lightning web components only. When I started using Lightning components in 2015, I believe I started using Lightning components. So at that time, Lightning component was less, but Visual Force was more. But around 2018-19 Visual Force, it's like if you have 10 projects, 7 will be in Lightning and 3 will be in Visual Force. So now currently it's like if you have 10 projects, 5 will be in Lightning components, 3 will be in Lightning web components, and 2 in Visual Force. But somehow you need to know this Visual Force, because then only Lightning component, Lightning web component, you will be easier to understand. Plus, in case there are migration projects, there you need to know Visual Force. Trails you can check. I remember maybe this Visual Force one Trailhead I did it in maybe in 2016 or 17. These are trails I can follow. So it's there. Still you were asking. It's on developer beginner. I can check when I did it last time. I did it on 24th May 2016. And I believe Trailhead was introduced in around 2015 starting it was introduced. And Visual Force I started using in 2013. So is it clear in this I can see? On chat. Any other questions? Maybe someone can stop the recording also.